Hello, welcome to another video. This is not a Linux video, so we're going back to old school PCs. This is an HP Pavilion 4510 and I managed to get this for free. Someone posted about having some old screens and I said, yeah, I can take those old screens. They also had this and a bunch of other old computer things, but this was what really got me interested. It just looks so cute and so small, and it's not just a PC, it's an HP. It's got the specifications and the sticker on the front here. I love it when they do this kind of thing and you've still got the sticker on the actual PC. So we can see it is an AMD K6-2400. It should have 64 megabytes of SD RAM. It should have a 4.3 gigabyte UDMA hard disk drive, a 32-speed CD-ROM drive, a modem, and integrated 3D AGP graphics, 8 megabyte shared video memory, 16-bit 3D stereo sound, and I don't have the keyboard, unfortunately, but it would have had a one-touch internet keyboard and come with free internet access. So yeah, expandable with a total of 4 bays and 4 slots. HP's 1000 point quality inspection. Interesting. And a Windows 98 sticker here, but I just love the size of this thing. It's really small, it's not very deep, and you can see on the back why we've got a sort of micro ATX size motherboard here. This looks like a modem with a game port and a speaker port, which is a little bit odd. Maybe it's a modem slash sound card or something, because there's no sound here. There's keyboard, mouse. Oh, look here, we've got sound up here, rather oddly. Keyboard, mouse, 2 USB, serial, video out, and printer port. And this is the power supply here. It looks like it's smaller than ATX. So should we have a look what's inside? Okay, so hopefully this just slides off. And it's got this kind of top section to give this a little bit more shape. So you can sort of see that bit. And got a hard drive here. It's got the 40 pin or 40 cable connector. IDE. We've got a Bestech Power Electronics Corp ATX 100-5. So we're looking at a 100 watt max power supply there. And here you can see we've got the floppy drive, optical drive. See how it just sort of fits above this power supply. It's quite solidly built, but we can't actually really see that far into the system. I can see down there is a P5S-VM motherboard. There's an ISA slot down at the bottom, and then we've got 3 PCI slots, but I'm going to need to remove this so that we can actually see what's under there. I wonder if this tray actually slides out. It might do. Let's give that a try with our trusty orange screwdriver. There's 3 screws for this and 3 for the power supply, so it's a bit of a oh no, there's 4. There's 2 here and then 2 on the side. Sometimes these kind of either fold down or slide out. Let's give it a try and see what happens. Okay. I mean, the cables are all still attached, so it makes it kind of a little bit tricky. So we've got our IDE cables here. And the floppy drive connector, that lets us move it a little bit more. Then we've got the front panel connection. And let's see if I can show you what's going on. So we've got some chips here that were probably optional. We're missing these. So the onboard graphics probably had the option of having its own dedicated memory here. And this fan looks okay. And this is socket 7 here. And we've got 2 sticks of RAM. And from what I can see, these capacitors look okay. So let's see if I can put the phone in there. So here's a slightly closer look at it all. But yeah, should we put this back and power it up and see if it works? Before I power it back up, I thought I would get a closer look at all these jumper settings. This shows you the voltage settings and then the different processor options for the multipliers, K62, etc. And then we've got a battery, and then we've also got these down here, which are more jumper settings. And then we've got a SYS chipset there, 5595. It's surprisingly clean on the inside. I've reconnected all the cables and put the screws back in, and I'll just grab the monitor. So it came with this unbranded monitor, which has a model number of 518XN. I'm going to plug the power cable into this now. I think it's got a digital on-off switch. So that's it switching on. And then I'll do the power cable for the PC as well. Okay, so I'm going to plug the power cable in now. And then I'm going to press the power button. I'm waiting for there to be a beep. There doesn't seem to be a beep yet. Let's see if this opens. Yeah, so we're getting power. I mean, it's switched on, the fans are on, but we're not getting anything on the display. We're not getting a beep either. There's a little buzzer built into the motherboard, so you would think that there should be a beep when switched on. I'm not getting any lights on the keyboard, so let's switch this off. That sounds like a Mac Store hard drive. Let's switch this on and see what the LEDs on the keyboard do. They flashed, but nothing's happening if I press any of the keys in terms of switching caps lock on and off. What I'll do is I'll reseat the memory. This is the memory. So it looks like at some point it's been upgraded. It's got a 128 megabyte stick as well as a whatever this one is, PC 100, probably 32. So this is probably the original that came with it. So let's just try with one stick of memory and see if we get anything. So I've just put the one stick of memory in to see if that makes any difference. I'm still not getting anything on the screen. This is quite unfortunate. It would be nice if it just worked. But that's the way things are a lot of the time with old systems. You have to try and work out why it doesn't work and see if you can fix it. I will test the power supply. Since it's an ATX power supply, just check that with a power supply tester. I've moved this around, so we've now got a much nicer, closer look at the board, and still all the capacitors look good from what I can see. I haven't checked the jumper settings, but I've no reason to think that they would be set incorrectly. But you never know. It's one of these boards where all of the settings are with jumpers like these for the multiplier and voltages and things like that. So they could have been set incorrectly at some point by someone. But I don't really know. But I'll test the power supply because it's a 20-pin ATX. That makes it easy for me to test the power supply. And we'll see what happens. I've got another PC that is much more modern than this. And you can watch it on the second channel. The link's in description. And you think, okay, well, this modern PC just needs an SSD drive putting in a little bit more memory and a fresh Windows install, and it'll be a PC that's up and running. But it's never quite that simple because it also needs the thermal paste changing on the processor and all of the fans cleaning. There's a fan in the power supply and on the processor and in the case, and they all need removing and cleaning thoroughly because they're all clogged up with dust. So even just sort of like fixing a modern PC can take a lot of time. But anyway, let's get back to this and we'll plug the power in, and we have got 11.6, 11.6, 5.1, 3.4 and 4.8. And they're sort of okay. It's not fluctuating drastically. They're not changing. It's very stable. And this is kind of okay, I think. So that would lead me to believe that this power supply is okay. But it might be something else that's wrong with this system. So I'll try the other memory stick. In fact, on a lot of these boards, the memory slots can go bad. So I might have to try different memory slots to see if there's any kind of issue there. There might be a contact that's not working properly or needs cleaning. So by trying the different memory slots, we might get somewhere. So that's what I'm going to try next. Okay, this monitor is kind of not happy. I basically press this menu button. I think that brings up the screen. It tries to display something, and then you can sort of see the crackling. Let's switch this off so you can just sort of see what's happening with the monitor. I did try a different monitor with this PC just to make sure it wasn't this that was the fault, but it does also look like this is faulty, so I'll do that again. That is not a happy monitor, and there's quite a lot of high voltages in monitors. Okay, so I'm going to switch this off, unplug it, and I'm not going to use this monitor anymore. I don't really want to be using a monitor that's making noises like that. It's not worth the risk, and I'm not, I'm not qualified to repair these, so I'm not going to try and repair this. I have other CRT monitors that are nice that I can use instead. Okay, here we have the Targa monitor. Makes a very nice sound when you switch it on. And we'll switch on this PC and we'll see what happens. We're not getting any beeps from the PC and we're not getting any output on the monitor. So I'll try the next memory slot. We're on to the third memory slot. I'm still not getting a beep as far as I can tell. Not getting anything on screen. We could try reseating the processor and checking the I've lost what they're called, the jumper settings, checking all of the jumper settings. So yeah, I may as well, we've tried the different memory slots. The next step will be to have a look at all of the jumper settings, and I may as well take this out fully, disconnect all the cables, and then see what's going on with the processor. Look how clean this Quantum hard drive is. Very clean. And it's generally very clean in here as well. There's a cable that goes into this card that is for the top audio connectors here. And this is the motherboard. It's super clean. This would have been an onboard audio chip, ES1371. So it's a P5S VM. And I'm just looking for the brand. Maybe it was made for HP. But P5S-VM. Is that Asus or A-Bit? I'm not entirely sure. Made in Taiwan. And this is the sort of modem / game and audio Riptide World International Sound Card Modem. If you can see that. And look how clean it is. It's like they bought this PC, whoever it was, and then just didn't really use it. Maybe they got a different computer instead. But yeah, I've got these jumpers and these to check. And we may as well have a look at the processor. Wonder if it stands up. Oh, it does. That's helpful. So this is socket 7, and we've got this little clip, and it just releases like that, and then this looks to be stuck very firmly on to the processor. That's a shame. And you'll notice how close the capacitors are to the heatsink. There's so little room for anything around this. So we can open it, pull the processor out. But can you see that? It's sort of stuck. And does it look like there's a metal heat sink and the silver bit on the processor? Does that look like a bit like it's slightly wonky, or is that just my imagination? Let's see if we can separate the processor from the heatsink. Okay, I have managed it. I've got just a kind of thermal pad. Yeah, it's a metal pad that's stuck. And here we have an AMD K62 covered in some stuff. I'll clean that with some alcohol spray. So we've got a K62 400 from 1998, 2.2 core and 3.3 volt IO, 400 AFR with a little Microsoft logo down there as well. That's pretty cool. So let's just put it back in and see if reseating it has made any difference. Lining up the sort of corner to the corner where there's this notch there. And then we need to work out what we're going to do with this heatsink, whether we put some thermal paste on there or just put back on this little metal shim temporarily. Probably a bad idea. Long term, but temporarily, it should be okay. Oh, except it's obviously just fallen straight out. But it should be fine just to run this for a little bit. As long as the heatsink is actually on there. And I can get this back on. Socket 7 heatsinks were never the easiest. This cable sort of being wrapped around it probably doesn't help either. Okay, that is reconnected. Let's put it back in and see if it works. I think the good thing about this being an ATX system, even though it's from, 1998, it's 20 years old or whatever, 25 years old, I can just, change memory components, change the power supply, and, it's easy enough to sort of sort these things out without having to buy proprietary parts or specific power supplies. So that's kind of a nice thing about this system. Okay, so I've looked at all the jumper settings and they all look perfect and correct. So let's try again. Ooh. we have got it to work. Woohoo! That is exciting. Here we have K62-400. I haven't reconnected the disk drive, I haven't reconnected the hard drive or the optical drive, and I haven't connected, keyboard, mouse, etc. But it looks like taking the CPU out and putting it back in has brought it back to life. So yeah, let me connect up some connections. Okay, so I've connected up the power, the keyboard, the mouse, some speakers, and let's see if it boots from the hard drive. I've reconnected the hard drive, the optical drive, the floppy drive. And has it stopped working? Oh my goodness. That's odd. Okay, let's try disconnecting some of these things. Maybe there's something wrong with the floppy drive or the optical drive or the hard drive that is stopping it from switching on. I'll disconnect the floppy drive first, and then we'll try again. Nope. So I'll disconnect this audio cable that goes into the sound card. Try again. Nope. I'll disconnect the optical drive. That's going to be easier from the motherboard side. And I'll disconnect the floppy drive cable as well. Give that another try. Nope. Let's try disconnecting the hard drive cable. Let's try that. Nope. Okay. There was another cable from the power supply that is for the fan speed for the power supply. So I think when it worked, that was disconnected. So there's this here that connects to the motherboard. It's got a fan C written on it, so fan control for the power supply. Let's try again. Okay, we're back. So that was stopping it from booting. Let's have a look in the BIOS. K62-400, 512 KB cache. It's got Win98, Win2000 as the operating system. And it's a pretty basic looking BIOS, advanced options, Q, etc. Not sure if there's anything in here worth having a look at. So let's try, we've got 64 megabytes, so that's good. Let's try reconnecting all these drives and see if we can boot into the drive. Okay, all the drives are connected, the audio is connected, and if we get this to boot into Windows, we can, well, Windows, see if Windows even works. So date and time, yeah, let's just carry on and see if the hard drive boots. Yes! Windows 98. Hard drives used to be quite loud, and I kind of miss that. Modern hard drives aren't as loud, and people don't use hard drives anyway, but if you do use a hard drive, it's not likely to be very loud. I'm just surprised this works. I like little old PCs. This is so kind of cute and small. It's a shame it doesn't have AGP, but you know, you don't necessarily need AGP to have a fun, interesting old computer. And I'm going to have to blur out whatever comes up if it's someone else's data on this system, and wipe it and do a clean install, or make sure I clean all the data. Okay, so there is loads of stuff on here. There's Microsoft Word and Office, looks like 97. There's Acrobat Reader. There's all these kind of like interesting icons going on, and we've also got Adobe Photoshop 6. I don't think there's any kind of this mouse is a pain, but it's like traveling back in time. There's all sorts of different web providers. This is like the little clock. Need to blur that out. Photoshop 6, when is that from? 2001. 24 years old Adobe Photoshop. You don't need a powerful computer to run Photoshop. You could run it on a 400 megahertz processor. This mouse that I've picked is pretty terrible. And look, Photoshop looks very similar. You know, all the usual sort of crop, select tools, all these filters. Got Adaware, we've got JV16 Power Tools, I'm not sure what that is. We've got Winamp. Bob the Builder, and scanner software and photo software for digital cameras, and window washer, don't know what that is. Oh, is it like a cleaner that cleans up all your stuff for you? Haha. Apparently last washed 2003, So maybe this PC hasn't been used for about 22 years. Got task scheduler down here. I've got the volume. Add watch monitoring active. Roxio project selector. That's for writing CDs, I think. Norton antivirus. What do we have down here? We've got Windows Media Player. Cool Page. Outlook Express. Internet Explorer. Should we have a look at what version of Internet Explorer there is? I'm not sure what this is opening. Oh, trying to open a web page. So, let's have a look. Help, about. Internet Explorer 6. I just plugged in a USB mouse and then it tried to install the drivers and then it asked for the Windows 98 CD, but because I didn't put the CD in, it didn't install the driver, so I can't use the USB mouse without it having the drivers installed. So yeah, Windows 95 wasn't always the easiest operating system to use. And you can tell that this hard drive is slowing this system down because it's just constantly doing stuff. Let's just have a quick look at stress relief. I don't know what it is, but we'll give it a try. Desktop games, freeware, etc, etc. Oh right, I see. It's one of those things where you can smash up this screen. It's got little ants. Yeah. If you'd had this in the past, you probably remember that. Was there something else? I don't know what this is, but let's just have a look. Oh, okay. G nucleus. So should we just have a very quick look at the hard drive, see how much space there is. So it's a 4 gigabyte hard drive. It's got 1.56 gigabytes free. So the hard drive in this system is 4 gigabytes. That's tiny, you know, and it's got full operating system, Photoshop, Office, all the packages you need, Access, Epson, Sysoft Sandra, video impression, Real Player, and it's still got 1.56 gigabytes of space free. So it kind of shows you how much software has got bigger and bigger and bigger. Man, there's so much in here. DirectX information. We should have a look what the graphics is. It's a Sys 530. That's not particularly exciting, I guess. CPU benchmark. So it says it's got a dry stone score of the same as a Pentium 2 400, which is interesting. The other old PC I've got is a Pentium 2 400, so they're probably on a par. And this processor does actually run at 400 megahertz, so it's 4 times 100 megahertz. What a neat little system. It's like traveling back in time to when you had a small amount of space but programs would still fit on your computer. This was used on the internet by the looks of things. Yeah. So this video turned out quite nice. We got this working, this cute little computer. Don't know what I'm actually going to do with it, but it is neat to have this system and have a look at what Windows 98 was like. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe, check out my second channel, and thanks for watching. Bye.